So how's life so far? Now in Johor is raining. I think for the last 2 days it's raining all the time. Yeah.
Yes.
How about other places in China? Raining as well?
No, there's no.
No, snowing.
And uh,
Okay, okay,
and
good.
our temperature is very low.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully yeah, you can manage. I mean, of course, that's your country, your weather. You know how to handle it. What's the temperature now? Minus?
No, two.
You can't
Just a
see.
two.
How's that? Two.
Just a two. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Hope you
And
can
the
manage that.
lowest temperature today is -5.
-5. Well, it's
Yeah.
very cold. It's freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's freezing. I've experienced the lowest is -6. -6. Well, that's crazy. But what to do? That is your country, so you have to manage that. Yeah. But now it's quite cold in Malaysia, especially in Johor, in UTM now. I think around 20 plus because of raining. I mean, for the last 2 days. And the weather is not that good for now. Yeah, but in some sense, if you can say the weather is good, and because of the pandemic, at least who knows, by having this rainy season or snowy season, we can slowly wipe out all the viruses. Yeah, hopefully that's we can do that by that. Hopefully, and we can get rid of the virus as soon as possible. Okay, as usual. So just take care and always observe the SOP. Yeah. Everywhere we go, if unnecessary, I think it's better for us to delay or to defer the other activities, especially outdoor activities with families. Yeah. So as usual, so we have to refrain ourselves. And sometimes, when I went to the shopping mall or to the market or to the to buy groceries, I saw family, with the small kids. Even some of them carrying babies. Yeah? They took babies to the shopping mall, so which is, I think, is not wise. Yeah? And but what to say? Some people, maybe because of the ignorance. Yeah, ignorance. Not to say they don't know, they are not aware about the consequences, but maybe because of the ignorance, yeah, which I think is not good for the society. Yeah, now, but again, so always observe the SOP, yeah, so that we can get over this pandemic as soon as possible. But of course, as I can say, I mean, even the expert mentioned about this. Yeah, we will be living with this pandemic for, I think, at least 1 or 2 years. Yeah. If we look back to the previous history about pandemic in this world that takes toll millions of people, it's not a very short period of time. Yeah, some 5 years, 10 years to get over. But yeah, of course, we don't need to go that far, so that can come back to our normal life. Yeah, but at least this is good for us to do some reflection. Yeah? To what we are doing so far, whether what we are doing is the right one, whether what we were doing is the wrong one. So maybe this is the right time for us to do some reflection. Okay, that's some introduction to keep us motivate. Let me share with you the slides. Today I'm going to talk about some theories. Maybe I have discussed this previously about some theories, but let us go bit by bit about some theories. Okay, it's just uploaded the slides in the e-learning, so just go to the e-learning theories of under theories of motivation. Then you can get these slides. There are 50 slides, but I'll try my best to not to say if I can finish all 50 slides, but at least I give you some ideas. If we don't have enough time to finish all 50 slides, maybe you can continue reading on your own and try to understand the theories. Okay. Now, I try to highlight several theories in motivation, right? Taylor, F.W. Taylor. So we can go back to the literatures to find the original source of this theory. Yeah, this theory, the traditional view. Now look at this one. This is, I think, Taylor. They try to study about why people likes to work, why people don't like to work, and during the industrialization, so people having problem with the making sure that people always motivated, especially in performing jobs at workplace. And so that's the beginning of studying on motivation, why people so excited, looking forward to do jobs, but some they don't like to do jobs. Of course, they likes to get paid to get paid. That's I mean a normal situation. You know why? Because from this how Taylor mentioned about this. Yeah, the first thing that he mentioned, people dislike work. Yeah? Like I said, nobody likes work. Do you like work? Do you like to do jobs? To do works? I would rather to sit at home and then get paid. So that's this is normal. Yeah? For human, especially when it comes to the difficulties, inventing or spending some efforts and working hard and then try to solve problems. Most of people don't like this. They dislike in this kind of condition and situation. And some people, what they mention about this one is people will only work for money. So when we say money, meaning rewards, right? Meaning rewards. We spend something, we spend some efforts, and in return we expect something, right? We expect something. So this is in the economic working condition. So where people work for money and then they get paid, right, to the efforts and the energy that they spend for the company. Now, at this point, he said that people are not capable of controlling their work or directing themselves. So they need to be directed, they need to be controlled, and then they need to be guided, right? And so that's why at this point, what they do understand is, simple repetitive tasks will produce the best results. So normally they were talking about the workers, the workers. I mean the workforce, the lower level where they do the jobs, yeah, and then to get the things done. So that's why they said that when we train them, right? Because to them, especially to the top management, they said that this group of people are not capable of controlling their work or directing themselves, so they need something, direction or guidance in order for them to do or to engage in such activity like a production line. So by this understanding, they said that a simple repetitive task will produce the best results, because by asking them to do that, to do the jobs over and over again, that will produce the best results. I mean, they becoming an expert in producing the stuff and producing the goods. So this is what they understand. Okay, in order to have this kind of results, so they need to be supervised closely and tightly. So extra effort must lead to greater reward. So what they understand here is people will meet standards if they are closely controlled, right? So that's how the system works, right? In order to make people do something, or to motivate people. Sometimes, the concepts of motivations does not really reflects to this kind of practices, right? Because they just do the job because they have been asked to do, not because of the internalization inside them, right? Inside them, to choose or to produce a specific behavior or specific actions. But in this situation, normally they have been asked to do something, some task. Okay, this is what you need to do. All right, how to do this is like this. So you do it, and then they guide them to do it until at one stage they manage to do it by themselves. So in this sense, producing the behavior, the action of completing the task, more to direction, more to direction rather than by internalization of the individuals, right? The individual. So that is the beginning of understanding how people producing specific behavior, right? The same way goes to Alton Mayer, in the theory of human relation, the human relation. So the same thing like this. But now, when we go to this one, let me show you. Hang on. Okay. So this is what I mentioned earlier, right? So when it comes to this one, later, when people start looking at the workers as a human being that has a potential, that has the intention, that has everything. I mean, this is the beginning of how people start to realize the importance of addressing the human as a person, not just as just like a machine that where you can simply ask or direct them to a specific direction to do things. But now people start looking at the importance of how to understand the human, in the perspective of human, which have potential, which have drives, or which have feelings or emotion in doing things. So that is how people start looking at this one. Now look at this Maslow hierarchy of needs. Now the hierarchy of needs, later the Maslow mentioned about this one, not to just directing and controlling the individuals to do something, but now we need to engage them in the activity, right? So that we can expect more from them. So according to Maslow, I think you have read this, and then you have discussed this in your assignment as well. So according to Maslow, he mentioned about the needs, the human needs. Why? Why? Because man is a wanting being. Wanting being. So, I mean, the human have these kind of feelings. They have the needs. Yeah, a satisfied needs. If we look at to the needs of the human or the individual, right? Now, the needs need to be fulfilled. Okay, the needs need to be fulfilled. So if we fail to fulfill the needs, they start to create problems, right, in terms of behavior. This is how they understand the needs, the importance of needs, in order to push or to motivate or to drive the individual to do something, right? To do something. So this is how Maslow hierarchies start mentioning about the needs, the human needs, okay, the human needs that need to be fulfilled. Okay, so by understanding this, at least we can expect that sometimes at one stage, we actually uh, 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 respect human individual as a human, which has feelings, which has needs, which has emotion. So this kind of thing, rather than like a machine where you can ask them to do things without considering about their feelings, whether they're happy, whether they are not. If we just considering that like happy, they will be happy if they get paid. Right. Sometimes slowly people start to understand this is wrong. This is a wrong conception. Not everyone, right? Not every time, not every moment. People will be happy when we give them a reward. Right? Some people, some in some certain situation, people are not considering rewards as the main objectives of their behavior. They start considering about the feeling that they will be experiencing, while engaging in the behavior or the activity. Now look at this one. Individuals have multiple needs. So the needs itself have a multiple levels, right? The multiple levels. So that's why the multiple levels. Not to say that you have to, you have to go one by one. But of course, if you look at to the hierarchy of needs, the triangles, order into levels, right? That's why they're creating a hierarchy. So you look at the triangles, right? The triangle, the broad base, and then pointy to the top. So you can see that to show that the capacity of the needs, right? The capacity of the needs. So normally, if you look at to this one, yeah, this is the needs, right? You can you see this?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Look at this one, yeah. Why are they considering like this the triangle, the broad base, the triangle, a pointy to the top? You can see that because to Maslow, the needs, it's like physiological needs. Normally, these needs is considered as the most needs that's ever been needed by the human, right? So that's what they mentioned about the hierarchy of needs. And then it slowly go up: safety needs, belongingness, love needs, esteem, and then up to the top one is self-actualization. Even Maslow himself, arguing about the self-actualization, whether the human individual really achieve to the level of self-actualization. Yeah. So normally, if you look to this movement from one level to another, so to the lower level to another, so that's why he divided into two, like being growth needs, being needs, and then deficiency needs. Deficiency needs normally related to the lower level of the needs. Now, what he mentioned about this one, yeah, then a need once satisfied is no longer a need. So this is very, very interesting. So now you can see physiological needs like hungry, right? This is physiological needs. When we are hungry, we are no longer need to find food. right? We just had our dinner, we just had our lunch, or we just had our breakfast. So we'll feel stuffed, and then we don't need the food anymore. So the needs is no longer available, right? To ourselves. So we don't need that anymore. We don't need the food. Now we start thinking about other needs. Since we have multiple levels of needs. So at one point, so the individual is concentrating with the primary needs at that moment, yeah, to be prioritized, which one need to be fulfilled first, like, when we considering about this one, yeah, like hungry, thirsty, how do the students can concentrate to the teaching and learning in the classroom, and because they lack in this one, yeah, they feel hungry, they feel thirsty. So and then as a teacher, we try our best to teach them without considering about this situation, without considering about the needs of the students. So at that moment, maybe they feel hungry, so that's why they don't pay attention, right? They don't pay attention. So the same way, like safety needs, although like physiological needs, sometimes it depends on the condition and situation. If we're talking about the normal condition, like Malaysia, China, right? Even now, if we want to connect to this COVID-19 pandemic, so safety needs becoming the priority now, right? The safety need become priority now. Now the concentration is no longer to um, physiological needs, but now it's start talking about the safety, right? We more concerned on safety. So physiological, like the groceries, like eating, like foods, everything. So we already have that, and then how we know how to deal with that. But at this moment, sometimes the needs for safety is more relevant, yeah, more relevant. So that's why when we move to somewhere, we try to choose something, we want to do some actions, we always consider the safety issues first at this moment, right? During this pandemic. The same way, like if we want to compare, like in the different countries and different situation, different condition. Like now, if we want to compare with Malaysia, Singapore, China, and other countries that doesn't have any problems with the country in terms of safety. But if we go back to the countries like where the citizens experiencing like a war, in the war situation, right? War condition. So that's what we mean. So the needs is again not just related to the needs of the person, but also influenced by the environment, right? So that's why what we need to understand here is sometimes, like, students learning in the, like, say, not just to say the country is in the situation of deficiency, but just for example, like Nigeria, right? Nigeria now, they involved in the war experiences until now, right? Especially between Muslim and Christian. So between north part and then south part, south part and north part. So they keep on fighting, and they keep on fighting. Now people, although they lack, or they have the deficiency in these physiological needs, like food, shelter, everything, because as everything being distracted by the war, being distracted by the war, everything's gone, right? The life, there's no such life, like here, you can simply say, during weekend I can go to the shopping mall, spending my times with my friends, with my family. But in their situation, they don't have time for that, because what they consider is about the safety, right? At that moment, safety becoming the most priority. So if you have food, if you have money, but you don't have the safety. How could you live with that kind of situation? So this is what we start talking about. I mean, how the needs can influence the quality of the life of the individual. So how they being motivated based on the specific needs. Okay, like uh, in the classroom, like I said, if we consider the needs of the student, yeah, the needs of the learners, then we can slowly understand and try to create what so-called the conducive environment that suit or applicable or suitable to their needs. Right? When the needs is fulfilled, then they can give more attention, pay attention to the learning processes. So if we look at to the if we look at to the implication to the learning and teaching, what we need to consider is the needs of the students, right? Before we can have a very good feedback, a very good session of teaching and learning, teaching and learning. So we can expect that. What we need to do here is we need to understand the needs of the student. What are the needs of the student? Like, for example, tomorrow I'm going to teach A, right? I'm going to teach A. So among the consideration that we need to consider is the needs of the student. The needs for what? The knowledge, the feelings, right? The activity. So that will help us, will assist us in preparing the teaching and learning session. Okay. And then number two, the process of satisfying the needs. Satisfy their needs. In what way? In this, at least we start to consider the teaching and learning strategies. What is the best way? What is best for them? Not best for us, right? For the teachers, sometimes we like to use cooperative learning. We like to use the collaborative learning, or maybe whatever the strategies that we think that it can be easily implemented, or we more comfortable by using that kind of strategies. So when we start considering about the needs of the students or the learners, then we can start considering about how we can fulfill their needs. You know why? Because maintaining the motivational level, like this one, it's not easy, right? It's not easy, especially like I mean, related to many things like impression, feeling, the experiences, personal perception, and how they feel about the situation. That will affect to the motivational level when learning with our session. So look at this one, maintaining the motivational level, determining factors, classroom activities, out of classroom. So those are the things that we need to understand, right? We are not just teaching them or educating them, but what we need to consider more is how this can continuously happen in the learners, right? So that's what how the theory of needs, why we need to consider needs in many ways, when we teach the children, the learners. Okay, any question? That's the hierarchy of needs. Why we need to consider this, right?
Yes,
Like, for example, yes,
uh,
yes, please.
question. So the safety needs not only about the physiologists safety needs like environment, but also the psychology safety needs that about a person's family. Right?
Yep, yep. So that's why some researchers mentioning about the lower level is more to physical needs, physical needs, and then the higher level more to psychological needs, psychological needs. So that's why for some studies they mentioned about the dividing into those levels into two, which is physical needs and the psychological needs. So what we can say of dividing that needs is that, you know, we need to consider the lower needs first before we can start considering about the higher level. Okay.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean the same thing, like in learning hierarchy. The first one we need to consider about the knowledge first, and then we consider about the understanding before we can start applying the knowledge, right? Before we can apply, we need to know the knowledge, know the skills, and then understand why we need to do this, why we need to do that, yeah, before we can apply it. So simple as that. So taking that into consideration, what I can say according to this theory is we need to consider all needs, the children needs. The most challenging part is, you know, because we were teaching what? How many children in the classroom? Normally 30, 35 in the classroom. Primary school around 35. Secondary school
20 plus.
Yeah, around that, right? I mean the classroom.
40 minutes.
Yeah. Plus minus about 30, 40. But now a little bit small number. Not like last time for up to 40, 45. But now I think around 30 plus, right? But you see, that is the most challenging part. When we considering the needs of the learners, right, in the classroom especially, you imagine you have 35 students. Does that needs? I mean, does the all students have the same needs? Sometimes they don't need to consider about the food because they comes from the wealthy family. They have everything. They don't need any more. But some students, they still need this, right? They need. I mean, maybe some other students, they require safety needs because maybe at home they don't feel safe. You know, the mother and the father fighting all days, you know, this kind of thing. So the concern about the needs of the children is the most challenging part for teachers, because we're considering more than one person, right? Even if we have children, if we have our own children, right, the needs is different from one child to another, right? Like say, for example, we have 2, 3. So 3 still, I mean, we already overwhelmed with the needs of the children, especially when we talk about our children, our own children. The first one is the eldest, the second one is the middle one, and then the third one is the youngest one, which sometimes have a huge difference of age. And of course, the needs is different. Okay, the needs is different. So considering this, what make the needs quite, not to say easy, but quite simple or quite easy to deal with is because in the classroom, they normally comes from the same age, right? The same age. Like if you teaching what? Primary 6, the age is roughly around 12 years of age. So we can expect that, you know, in terms of needs, maybe they have similar needs, if not the same, right? Because of the age level is the same, right? So that is the most challenging part in identifying which needs belongs to which students, right? It's not easy to deal with that. Sometimes, you know, we have to consider that at the same time to the different needs of the students. Any more questions? I think just to highlight with you the challenging parts, how to deal with it in the perspective of a teacher, the teacher. Any more? Okay, if not, so we move on to the ERG. Clayton Aldefer. try to come out with the still under the theory of needs, theory of needs. But now he tried to be more specific, right, in defining the needs. Okay, in defining the needs. If you go back to this one, yeah, if we want to compare with the other needs theory, like even Maslow, like the theory next after this, so you can see that it belongs to a specific level. It belongs to the specific level and specific types of needs. According to Alderfer, ERG theory, he mentioned about existence, relatedness, and growth. Right? E is for existence, R for relatedness, and G for growth. So ERG theory. ERG theory. Maybe when we discussing about this one, you may want to consider this as part of your theoretical framework for your research study later. Research study later. It happened many times, students who exploring the topics of motivation, they chose some of the theories here, some of the motivational theories, and at least by discussing this, you get some idea how and then why this theory is more applicable to the research study. Okay, according to Alderfer, he mentioned about the needs, the human needs, existence, relatedness, and growth, right? But the most important, interesting part is more than one need may be operative at the same time. It's not like existence one and the finish existence and then come to relatedness and then come to the needs for growth. But sometimes it comes together, right? Mixing up and then making the individual work hard to identify the priority of the needs at that particular time. Look at this one. 3 needs categories are ordered hierarchically. So growth need, related needs, relatedness needs, and existence needs. Right? When we start talking, when we discuss about a growth need, this is a developmental of competence and realization of potential. So as a human being, right, this is something like the innate tendency, right? The innate tendency where everyone is being born with these needs, the growth needs. So they need to develop their competence. They need to realize their potential and then try to develop the potential and then try to make use of the potential, right? Become a competent person. So in order to survive in this world, so they don't have the choice. Something like choices, right? Everyone must face this. Everyone must do this. Everyone must experience this. So they don't have the choice. Something like, what choices do I have? I have to face this. I have to do this in terms of survival, right? Developing my competence and developing or exploring my potential, right? In order to explore my potential, so we have to do something. Like, for example, we have to engage in learning activities, come to school, right? Come to schools and then, making mistakes and do something, trial and error, many things. Everything we do is one way of realizing the potential. We do not know our potential without exploring it. So in this process, so everyone must experience this without any choice, right? In terms of survival. And then number 2, again, this is the issues of relatedness needs. Now we start talking about relatedness. Now we're not just talking about ourselves as a person, but now we start talking about the survival of the existence, right? The existence of ourselves as a person, as a human being in the broader context, like in the society, right? How satisfactory our relations with others, right? So this is the needs that we need to consider because we cannot live on our own. We need each other. You want to buy something, you go to the shop, meaning we need the storekeepers, we need the seller. All right. If you want to you want to learn something, we need to go to schools, meaning we need to see teachers, we need to see our friends, right? This kind of thing. So we cannot live alone. So we cannot live in vacuum. So we need to get along with others. So how satisfactory relations with our environment, especially with other people, will determine whether the needs, the relatedness needs, is fulfilled or not, right? And then the existence needs. This is talking about the physical well-being, how we develop ourselves as a person. This is our survival, right? The existence. So because by understanding this, at least to have a mental health, a good mental health, so we need to have like this, like that, like this, like that, to have a very good feeling or good experiences in learning, right, at schools. So we need to have this and that, this and that. So those are the things that people need to consider. Okay, those needs like growth, relatedness, and existence, without any exclusion. Without any exclusion. So everyone must go through this process, right? Must go through this process, fulfilling their needs in order to survive in this world. So by considering this, at least we know what are the drives that push the individual to do something, do some actions, right? Like I said just now, why we need to in order to satisfy our relationships with others, we need to understand them. How can we understand them? In order to understand them, then we can start thinking what kind of behavior. So that really pushing us to do something, right? To motivate us to do, to choose, or to select specific types of behavior in order to get satisfactory relationships with other people. Okay, that's the ERG, yeah, ERG. But if you look at to the implication to the learning, what we can do is we need to assist the learners. Yeah, we need to assist the learners how to realize the purpose of life, especially learning. You know why we need to learn? Because we want to this, that, this, that. They need to understand that. Okay, every children need to understand that. Sometimes they don't really see the connection, the connection. So that's why in learning, sometimes you feel fine. You will find that some students really motivated to learn. Some students just ignore. They don't engage in the activity. So because they don't really understand, right? Why they need to learn. Okay, so in order to help them, to assist them producing a positive behavior, positive actions, always looking forward to do things. So we need to assist them realizing this, in their life. And the same way in regards to relatedness, yeah. So the importance of friends, colleagues, peers, and others, right? Peers and others. So they need to see that, right? They need to see the connection, and then slowly they can understand the connection between them and other peoples around them, yeah, like colleagues, peers, and others. So like that, for example, so when they engage in the learning activity in the classroom, so they always consider the connection between their peers, their classmates, and the teachers, right? And of course, in the broader context, they connect it to other perspective, like the family, the family that will help them in the learning processes. So those are the connection, how they see the importance of them to their learning activities. Okay, so we need to help them. We need to assist them in understanding this context. And then the growth, yeah. assist the learners realizing the potential through learning and teaching activities. How we can do this? So what we can say, in order to help them or to assist them to realize the potential, their potential, so we need to create, people always say, the conducive teaching and learning environment. In that sense, in this sense, what we can say, the conducive environment really encourage learning and teaching activities. Yeah, learning and teaching activities. We have to consider the various level of the learners. Some fast learners, some slow learners, some moderate learners. We need to consider them so that we can produce, or we can come out with the very conducive learning strategies so that they can learn without any fears, without any deprived feelings, right? So this is what we need to do so that they can learn in the happy situation, and very encouraging, very encouraging. Okay, and this is again the McClellan basic needs. McClellan again, this is some kind of Elton Mayer, and if you look at to this one, this is again related to the how people see the relationships with others in working environment. Yeah, working environment. But if we want to connect this into teaching and learning environment, again, we can understand this that. In every person, normally they have, according to McClellan, he mentioned about three basic needs of human, right? The first one, need for achievement, and then number two, need for affiliation, and then number three, need for power. So in many situations, in every situation in their part of their life, people always considering these three needs: and needs for achievement, right? Whatever it is, need for achievement. Why? When we do things, achievement does not really means A, B, C, or D. Achievement is anything. When we learn something, we know something, that is achievement. When we learn to do something and then finally we can do the things, is also achievement, right? So we consider achievement in various perspectives, not just A, B, C, or D, right? That's how we consider the achievement. So according to, you look at this one, where this is high, if the need for achievement is high, then people have an intense desire to succeed and an equally intense fear of failure. Those are the two situations, right, that comes together. The first one, of course, they want to succeed. They want to achieve the objective or the learning objectives. But at the same time, they are also dealing with the fear of failure. But of course, you can see this situation. You don't want to feel, you don't want to fail when we learn something. When we learn something, we don't want to fail. What we want to is we want to achieve the objective, right? Successfully achieve the objective. So if we say like we want to learn, like fixing what? Fixing cars, right? Fixing cars or learning topics, right? Learning certain topics in any subject. So we set that as we consider that as a needs, right? Needs. So at the end of the process, at the end of the teaching and learning activity, we manage to acquire the topics, right? We manage to acquire the topic. So in having said that, so everyone have, although everyone have these kind of needs, but of course the way we deal, the way we address them, the way we address them will affect into a different situation, a different impact. Okay, some, if we fail to address that in terms of in regards to their ability, their competency, sometimes we fail to address that. That can result in something that is unexpected, something that we are not intended to. Like for example, I've had I have my personal experiences when I first learning additional mathematics, right? Additional mathematics. The teacher are not so, not to mention the name, but the teacher are not so helpful, right? Although there's during that there was a very beginning during the first few weeks of the lessons. So we try to figure out, we try to learn the principle, the concepts of additional mathematics, try to transfer right from the modern mathematics to additional mathematics. So, but at that moment, I don't know, maybe because of that, the situation, the teachers are not so helpful. You know what he did is in the classroom. Normally, when we ask question, of course, when we learn something, definitely we have lots of questions, especially as something new. When we learn something new, so we have lots of questions. The response is unpredictable. Sometimes he simply say, "This is I expect you know everything. Okay, you know already because you know we consider this class is the best class in the school. So I expect you know how to do, you know how to find the answer, and then that's it." So you imagine. So this is kind of thing. The level of the need for achievement is different from one person to the other. Some students, right? Some students may have this idea, may have these, I mean, basic skills, but for some, maybe they start from zero, right? Start from zero. So, like I said at the beginning, so we need to consider the variability of the needs level of the children. Okay, and then needs for affiliation, right? High people tend to seek acceptance by others. Yeah, of course, they sometimes, you know, when we abuse that, although we always need for affiliation, sometimes we, you know, most of the time people like to abuse that, yeah, like pleasing others, right? Pleasing others. You just want to make other people's happy without considering why we need the relationship. Okay, why we need the relationship? Is it just because of pleasing the other person? This is something that I think we need to consider as well. Yeah, in considering the needs of the individual. Still remember my friend. My friend, he he actually, you know, my friend during the schooling times, he actually interested of doing other field of study when he pursuing in the university. But of course, maybe because of the parents, and the parents really interested for him to do teaching, teaching program. So at the end of the day, he ended up with doing a teaching program, teaching program. Although I can consider him as a brilliant student. I think he can do better than, not to say harder program than the teaching. Not to say teaching is not good or other this is not good, but I'm talking about the difficulty level. Sometimes, you know, like people consider like aerospace is much more difficult as compared to this social sciences study. But of course, because of the parents, because of the parents, he want to please his parents. And so finally, he ended up doing the teaching program. But of course, at the end, he's a successful teacher, and now I think near to retirement. But he's a successful teacher because of his brilliance, of his competencies. But of course, that is what we don't want to happen, right? What we don't want to happen, because pleasing people without considering our own, sometimes this is unfair. This is unfair. So we have to understand why we need affiliation, because of mutual relationships, and so that by having this, can have a better feeling, better mental health, and better well-being. So that's what we need to consider. And then need for power. Everyone need this, right? But what we can consider is about the leadership issues, the leadership issues. How we consider ourselves, how we deal with the need for power, controlling people, right? Controlling people. Sometimes, when we in the classroom, when we teach students, so they actually, we need to like to consider them, right? To consider them to control their learning activities. Yeah, like for example, empowering. Yeah, empowering them in their learning and teaching activities. How we can empower them? Yeah? By recognizing their ability. Yeah, recognizing their ability. Like for example, working in the small group. Yeah, working in the small group. The activity that we have set, or that we set in the group activity, need to you need to instill this kind of needs. Yeah, they without um, considering about without considering about the whether these people, but what we can say here is how the group activities can increase, can encourage, or it could be the development of this, how they can deal, how they can start learning about not to control others, but how they can work together without sacrificing their personal needs. Like, of course, controlling means like, not to say in the negative manner, but more to like get the things done, the activities done. So that's what they need to understand. Okay. And if we look at to the implication to the teaching and learning, what we need to do in achievement is assist the learners to realize between success and failure, right? In success and failure. So they need to realize, because in many situations, sooner or later, we will experience these setbacks, right? The successfulness, happiness, it always comes together with the learning activities. And then in terms of affiliation, right? They also need to learn about the importance of other people in their development. So they can understand this in order to encourage them to select in specific kind of behavior. And then the need for power, we have to assist the learners balancing the personal interest or personal gain and the responsibility. So they need to understand this. So, of course, students still learning. So whatever it is, we need to guide them, to assist them to realize this, the needs, what they have in their mind, what they have in themselves, and then at the same time, how they can achieve those needs in more responsibility manner, right? In more responsibility manner. Okay, the two factors, Hajin factors. You can read this one straight away. Okay, and then the implication to the teaching and learning, drive reduction. So again, this is drive reduction. It's related to the biological needs. Remember, we discussed about the biological needs, the How theory. So you can look at to this one, how you can um, um, explain the behavior in terms of reduction theory. Okay, arousal theory, Yerkes Dodson. So look at this one, how the what was that? The diagram, showing the the lines of the arousal levels based on the difficulties, based on the difficulties. So look at this one. The red one is the easier task, and then the blue one is the difficulty task. The difficulty task. What this law mentioned, Yerkes and Dodson mentioned about arousal levels can help performance, but too much arousal can interfere with performance. Okay, like too excited, too excited, like this one. For example, you may have found that doing your boring, busy work at homework requires a lot of efforts on your part due to low arousal. So because you feel that the task is so boring, and then homework, you don't like to do homework, so you don't feel arousal, right? While doing a difficult brain teaser is fun and easy to concentrate on. So that is what we mean, right? If you look at to this one, yeah, arousal theory, implication to learning. Assist the learners to balancing their ability and the task. So they need to playing around. Later we will see the expectancy, right? The expectancy theory. So now we have to assist them to see or to balance, yeah, to balance their ability with the task. So they need to playing around. They need to understand why, because in many times, in many situations, in many occasions, the ability does not always align to the task. And sometimes, especially when you learn something new, and of course, yeah, we can see that sometimes the task goes over the ability, and then at the same time, sometimes it goes below the task, right? So the task is going below the ability. So if the task is going below the ability, remember the boredom. People start, I mean, the students they start to feel bored, not interested, right? Because the ability and the task, the difficulty of the task is not aligned. It's not aligned. And then number two, completing the task will requires modification and improvement. Yeah, in order to keep the motivation. So that's what we need to understand. We need to understand how completing the task will what we mean by requires modification and improvements, because different problems have a different context and a different consequences. So that's why they need to be able to have these agility to see in different contexts, in different time, different situation. That's why it requires modification and improvements, right? Otherwise, the process of learning becomes stiff. It becomes stiff, and then it's hard to maneuver. Hard to maneuver. And then number three, assist the learners to deal with arousal issues, right? And why we need to make them, right? They can arouse themselves, right? Arouse themselves. Later, we will discuss about self-determination theory, right? I think I have mentioned a bit about self-determination theory, but later I think we can discuss it again. Yeah? Self-determination theory, how the individual can arouse themselves in engaging in the learning activities. Yeah? So this is what we need to do, yeah, in teaching and learning, yeah? Assisting the learners to deal with the arousal issues so that they can continuously engage in the activity, right, without any problems. And sometimes they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel happy with that, and then they start ignoring the activity, although the activity is important, right? Learning the topics, and like, for example, so the topic is so important, but because of the effect or the results from the learning action, learning activity processes does not really encourage them to engage and to continuously engage in the learning activities, right? And then the expectancy theories is the same thing. I think I have mentioned this, yeah. So you can look back to this one. How we can measure the force, the force of the motivation, the force of the motivation by looking at the valence and the expectancy. Okay. Valence is the strength of preference for an outcome. Expectancy is the level of belief that changes in behavior will achieve the required outcome. So this is what we can expect, right? Required performance and then the outcome. So how people understand this, the required performance. Okay, what I need to do, what kind of behavior that I need to perform. Okay, this is what we can say, and then the outcome. right? The outcome. Okay, what we expect, whether the outcome, I mean, the outcome is something like easily achieved, or something like very hard to achieve. So how we perceive the outcome, or the problems, or the output of the activity, so that will affect to the force or the strength of motivation. So the valence multiply with the expectancy will show the force of or the strength of the motivation. Okay, so maybe you can consider this, yeah, in your writings, in your discussion, or even in your teaching and learning activities, in order to strengthening the motivation. So we need to highlight the issues of values, yeah, issues of values, how they value the outcome, whether the outcome is something like this is my outcome or other people's outcome, like the example that I mentioned earlier, uh, doing teaching program instead of doing program that he is interested in. So how he value that. Sometimes, when he value uh, uh, the expectation of the family is higher than the expectation of he himself. So maybe that will tell us about the how he value the decision of doing the teaching program. And then the expectancy. So the expectancy, okay, how we expect that in terms of behavior, that how we need to do, how in order to achieve the outcome. So do we have the ability to achieve that? Do we have the competency of doing it? So those are related to the expectancy, right? And then combining with the values, and then that will create the power of motivation, and the power of motivation to do something. And then related to the expectancy theory, there's one, according to this one, yeah, you can also look at to the more specific diagram, yeah, like this one. So how to measure the force, yeah, the strength of motivation, the expectancy, and then look at the instrumentality, and then the valence, the valence. It's wrong spelling here, the valence. So look at this: force directing specific behavioral alternatives, and then the expectancy, the perceived probability that effort will lead to good performance. So that is the expectation. And then the instrumentality, perceive or perception, the probability that good performance will lead to desired outcomes. So how they consider, how the individual consider, if I do this, right? I mean, comprehensively, okay, with the highest quality types of actions, I think this can get me some results at the end. So that's how we deal with this one, yeah, the connection between our perception that my effort is related to the outcomes, yeah, the reward that will help us to keep to maintain the efforts of doing. And then the values, yeah, the value of expected outcomes. So again, sometimes we, in the real situation, we're dealing with many types of value. Value for ourselves, value according to ourselves, the value according to the society, the value according to the friends, a value according to the family. So those will determine, yeah, our efforts, in engaging in the activity. So you can look back to this one, yeah, then the implication, right? Positive perception, connection between attainment to the desired outcome, and satisfaction. Then start talking about the valence, assist the learners to understand about their preferences, this kind of situation. And then later we go on with the goal setting theory and goal setting theory. Right, I mentioned here at least there are 5 principles that we need to consider in understanding the goal setting. Look at this one. People are motivated to work towards and achieve goals. Goal setting is important, right? Goals enhance performance. So now, in order to understand this, the effective goal setting principle, the first one need to consider the clarity, right? The clarity, clear, measurable, specific. And then number 2, challenge. So again, remember when we say the alignment between the ability and the difficulty, so that's what we need to consider. So how we can maintain, how we can create the difficulty of the task becoming a challenges to the children. So they take that as a challenge, right? So that is very, very important. How we make the alignment between the difficulties of the task and the ability of the children. And then number 3, commitment. Okay, sometimes, we set the goals for someone, we set the goals for the children, but without considering about whether the goals is attainable for that particular student. That's why sometimes we need to involve the children or the individual to set the objectives or the goals for the learning. And because when we discuss that, when we reviewing that, when we considering that, at least we take into consideration about their ability. And sometimes we set according to our needs, according to our sets, our level. So sometimes it does not really align to their ability. So that's why sometimes the goals for these students a little bit low, for that student a little bit high, and then these students, that this student is very good. I know them, they are very capable, so increase the level. So that's how we deal with the difficulty of the goal setting. Number 4, the feedback. So don't forget the feedback, because along the way in the learning process, so we need to discuss the process of the achievement. Where does the problem comes along the way? Why we don't achieve this at this particular times? Because we have set this at this moment, so we need to achieve this. So we need to discuss that in order for them to understand the problems along the way. And then task complexity. So again, this is again back to the challenge number 2. The challenge number 2, task complexity. This is the enhancing the effectiveness of the goal setting, and I add some here of the how we can motivate students to learn according to Sylvia Rim. See, this is study from Sylvia Rim. In 1995, she mentioned about 12 way of motivating students. We can read through this one, quite small here, but you can read through here. Like number 1, children are more likely to be achievers if their parents join together to give the same clear and positive message about school efforts and expectation. So this is one particular effort that we need to consider, right? Involving the parents, because the learning of the children, if we look from the perspective of ecological theory, so the closest circle is the parent. Okay, the closest circle is the parent. So we need to consider that. And then the next circle is the people outside the parent parental circles, which is could be the school contacts, the peers, and so on. So in order to make sure that the students really, the individual really understand about the learning responsibility, so we need to engage the parents, together in the learning and teaching activities. But that's not the case. In many situations, sometimes at school, if we can look to the school perspective, I don't know in China, maybe you can share a bit, Shing in Korea, how the functions of parent-teacher association, parent-teacher association. So how effective the parent-teacher association, and then how successful the association in uh, enhancing the students' learning activities. Yeah. So maybe someone would like to share about how we can understand about the parent-teacher association at schools. Yeah? How effective the association, how useful the association to the students' learning. Sometimes, the parents say the teacher does not really, doing their jobs well, and then at the same time, the teachers also blaming the parents does not doing the same thing like what they did at school. So like blaming others instead of working together, right? They're working together. So according to Silverium, so we have to consider this parents and schools relationships need to be fostered, need to be fostered so that of course is because we play our part when they come to school, when the children come to school. So that is the teachers or the educators part. But when they come back to at home, and then the responsibility belongs to the family. So they need to be, working together closely. And then if we want to add there, right, if we want to add there, not just the schools and the parents, but also the society. So it should goes hand in hand and together so that, we can encourage the learning processes of the children. So that's number one. So then you can go through this one. Yeah. Okay, any questions? I think I leave you with this one. Then you can read through, and next meeting. I think how many more meetings do we have? I think 2 more meetings, right? 2 more meetings, if I'm not mistaken. 2 more meetings. So the next meeting, I think I want to discuss about 2 topics. Yeah. The first one is the self-determination theory, as the continuation of this discussion, and the other one is the theory of planned behavior, right? Theory of planned behavior. So try to read through those theories. The first one is the uh, self-determination theory, and then the second one is the theory of planned behavior. Okay, theory of planned behavior. So have a look of those theories, and then next meeting we will discuss about that. Okay, and hopefully, especially how we can understand the teaching and learning processes, in the perspective of motivating the students to learn, motivating the students to learn. All right, any question? Okay, try to prepare that those two theories as continuation of this one. Yeah. Again, like just to like I said, self-determination theory and the theory of planned behavior. Okay, prepare that one. Then we can discuss it next meeting. All right, another one. I think I would like to say. Yeah, I will give you another task. Yeah, because now we have to change a bit about the assessment of this course. Previously, we have a final exam, 30% of final exam. But this time around, I replace it with another assignment, So I will share with you uh, the the assignments for you. Hopefully, can be finished within a week. The duration for completing the task. That is the I think simply said like replacement for the final exam. So you have to do another task. So the task need to be completed within 1 week, and I will share with you what kind of task that is. But mostly, it is related to um, not to say related to the assignments that you are now doing, but it is the way it need to be completed, more or less like the previous assignments, like pre-assignment, personal reflection, as well as the issues, the motivational issues in the articles, right? So mostly like that. So I will share with you the task later, hopefully by this week, and so that you can prepare. So we will give you 1 week time to complete the task, and that will conclude the whole parts of the motivation course assignment. All right. Any question? Okay, if no questions, okay, hang on. Let me share with you. Okay, you can slide in now. You can scan your attendance. All right, you can scan now. Okay, 4 more. Okay, 3 more. Okay, who got problem to scan? And Saleh. One more, Saleh, yeah. Muhammad Soleh. Hello, Muhammad Soleh. Where is Muhammad Soleh? Nini. Hey, Nini. Nini Palal. Cheng.
Yes, doctor. I scan it.
Yeah, Korea.
Yes, I already scanned.
Okay, Ainur. Ainur.
I think Ainur is having problem with mic.
Okay. Rosmira.
Yes, I already scanned.
Aisyah. 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 Where's Aisyah? Uma.
Yes, Doc, I've already done mine.
Okay. Soleh.
Doctor, hear me?
Where's Soleh?
Hello, doctor.
Okay. Before we dismiss, can we turn on the video first? Turn on the video. Korea, Uma, Saleh, Aisyah. Hey, Uma, what happened to your picture?
I know, Doctor, the reception is quite bad. It's raining.
Korea? Where's Korea? Korea? All right, now 2469. All right then. All right, any more questions? So I will share the final task for the final exam replacement. So by this week, and just get ready. You just get your assignment done, the existing assignment done, and so that you can concentrate. Because I think I will be giving you 1 week time, duration for completing the final task. All right. If no more questions, so thank you very much for your time, and always observe the SOP, because we're still experiencing and battling with this pandemic, and hopefully we can get through this without any problems. Have a good day and have a good rest. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr.